One of the things that one of the things we've done over the past several years is invest in people who have demonstrated an interest in leadership's too quaint a word, but interest in using their own energies to spread the word about pardons and criminal record clearing and how it really is available for people other than well-connected, rich white guys like me. We had a retreat in the summer of 2022 in Philadelphia of, I think, 10 people, a majority of whom were from Philadelphia. I think 6 were from Philadelphia, but 4 were from counties outside Philadelphia, where it was facilitated by a professional group. It was a one-day event. But the idea was to get the leaders of the PPSC, not the elected leaders, but the people who had shown lots of energy and enthusiasm for the work of the PPSC, got them together to talk about why is there a PPSC? What the heck are you guys doing? What do you want to accomplish? How do you want to accomplish it? When you invite new members in, why do they want to be members? What are you expecting of them? And how do you push forward an agenda of systemic reform where none of us we're just not those kind of guys that are passing the laws or making the regulations or deciding on how many people come up for hearings before the PPSC. How do we influence the people who make the difference? And it was a pretty good retreat, and it ended up really formulating the 5 objectives that are now the impact plan for Shuja's film, that if you go on the website, pardonsnow.org, and click on impact campaign or the campaign, you'll see what they are. It is really to spread more across Pennsylvania the knowledge among impacted communities and the organizations that serve them, the availability of pardons for real Pennsylvanians. Well, we did pretty well. That was 2 years ago. So now we're 2 years later. We're now in 20 counties. We don't have representatives from 20 counties, but we have representatives from 12, 13, 14. How do we become a really powerful statewide voice for respect, for getting beyond the stigma of having had an involvement with a criminal justice system, for forcing the system to acknowledge that the laws and the procedures were racist, or if at least not racist, not evenly or blindly administered? What should the PPSC be working towards? How can it do it? Since all of you are volunteers, what do we need to succeed? What are the objectives we ought to have for the next 2 years? So that's the kind of statewide meeting that we are thinking about holding again in Philadelphia sometime in late spring, early summer. It would be a one-day event again. And for those of you who are interested and really energized to participate in the work of the PPSC, we want to know who you are. So write a note to Akeem and say, yeah, I'm really interested in doing this work. Please invite me to this meeting of leaders. We'll pay your expenses. We can't reimburse you for lost work. We can pay your expenses for coming. And then when we come together, plan on spending an intensive day trying to figure out, what does the PPSC look like? Why should people want to join? Where do we want to go? Where do we want to be 2 years from now? What kinds of new objectives should we have? And are there other ways of spreading the news that's in Shuja's film to counties that haven't even heard about the film or us or pardons or anything else? We don't have funding for it yet. We have a couple grant requests out. Maybe we'll hit and maybe we won't. But we're planning on something for June-ish, maybe July, because the last one was really powerful and it really fundamentally changed the nature of the PPSC from an advisory group into an advocacy group. And now we have the ability to speak to the Lieutenant Governor, to the Secretary of the Board of Pardons, to the Attorney General, to bar associations around the state. Pretty powerful group. So you're getting a voice. How do you want to use it?
So for those that may not know, I'm the producer and director of Pardon Me. You know, it started as a fellowship with Pulse, and that has grown into actually working hand in hand with them and Tobey with raising money to produce a film to help really reinvigorate the pardon network that has been established statewide. And that has been, we released the film in September. It was a 3-year journey because I was working. I'm still on sentence. That's what we're talking about. So I haven't been pardoned. I'm actually still on parole. I don't have the best parole agent. She's been on me, denying travel opportunities and just for no reason, honestly. So it is a struggle when you're on sentence, particularly when you're just doing nothing but good work. So, but anyway, it was a 3-year journey to get the film done, trying to do that while working and broke and everything else. But we finally released the film in September, working with the steering committee. We're figuring out, what story does this film really need to tell, and how do we position it, to be effective in the streets. And I can go on and on and on about the journey of the film, but again, we released it in September, and we're like 6 months in, maybe going on 7 months in, and the film continues to just have a magical effect on communities statewide. Even in very conservative Crawford County had a major turnout. The mayor came out, people loved the film. So it just continues to grow. As of late, we've been accepted into a film festival in Los Angeles. So I leave for Los Angeles. Been in California before, but this will be my first time in LA in 2 weeks to serve on a panel after watching the film. It's the Justice on Trial Film Festival at Loyola Marymount University. So just an amazing opportunity. We're at we're at the Northeastern Pennsylvania Film Festival up by Cal the week after. We're up for 3 awards there. And then I'll be presenting at the Criminal Justice Conference at State College that week as well. So just a lot of amazing opportunities. I just found out that we are now a finalist for the American Bar Association's, look at Tobey. We're a finalist for the Silver Gavel Awards in Media and the Arts. That's just amazing. To even have a film, this is my debut film. So before this, I created a web series that was good, but it didn't really grow outside of Philadelphia. So as a second project to be Pardon Me and be featured with these films, one is on HBO, one was produced by HBO, the others won Sundance Awards. That's what can you say? That's just amazing. I feel so blessed. And I think that is indicative of what being on this committee is all about. We're about empowering us as people with lived experience that want to give back, that want opportunities, and we try to find ways to do that. I see Zach growing. I see how Keem was growing. Paula, she's quiet. She's like, I'm just a secretary. Paula's a dynamic, amazing, wonderful person who's had a long career in the nonprofit space, and now in her retirement, she's just making sure that we stay connected and continue to win as a committee. So, again, and I'm probably missing some people, but this committee is all about investing in those, empowering those with lived experience. So as a next step for the film, what I've done, because I said I was a community advocate, I don't know how much people really understand what that means, but since 2019, I've been doing nonprofit work in the West Philadelphia area, specifically because I'm 4th generation in this area. We have, really deep roots. My great grandmother was a community leader in this area, and I wanted to pick up that legacy, not only just for the family legacy, but also to represent that just because you made mistakes in your past, that shouldn't define you forever. And I know the mistake that I made when I was 22 years old is not who I am, and I'll be 42 in a few weeks in May. So I just want to stand in that and represent that. And so I've worked with a few nonprofits, done a lot of community advocacy, and as a next step, I've used that network to establish what we're calling a West Philly Pardon Network. So specifically working with the different organizations that I've already built relationships with, and establishing a hub network just specifically within West Philly, where those organizations that already service community members can now add an additional service, which is pardon application help, or just even spreading awareness and information. So, add something else on the to-do list. But it really feels amazing because we have the support of State Rep Rip Krajewski, who, by the way, is working to schedule a screening of Pardon Me with the Black Legislative Caucus in Harrisburg. Amazing, right? And we have the support of many of the nonprofits, community-based organizations in this area. As of late, we're finding out that University of Penn's nursing school is very interested in showing Pardon Me, is scheduling a screening and incorporating it somehow with their, with what they're trying to do in the nursing world, which I think they're trying to grow their workforce for nurses and also provide additional help for the clients that the nurses see. So I'm sure there's many other things that I can list, but the main thing is I can't believe this film is that powerful, because I was doing it while also trying to live life, while giving myself grace and try to reacclimate to society, but also working a 9 to 5. So I feel very blessed and humbled, and I appreciate all of you, because without you, the film wouldn't have gained the legs that it's starting to gain within a very short amount of time.